The title, Is There a Dog in This Book? That actually was quite easy to find, but only because we'd already done There Are No Cats in This Book and There Are Cats in This Book. It took, I think, quite some time to convince people that There Are Cats in This Book as a title. It took really a long time for people to understand what it was at all. Like, it was quite hard to develop and to sell. A second one. People really hated the title. It's like, we can't sell a book that's called There Are No Cats in This Book. And there aren't even many cats on the cover. That's not going to work. But it did. And so, Is There a Dog in This Book? That just kind of believed, and that was quite quick to find. Although I think I called it There Is a Dog in This Book first. And then the art director said, no, it'd be much funnier if it's called Is There a Dog in This Book? He's right. He's always right. He's very good. I don't do all my work in the studio here. It's actually most of the work I do otherwhere. I do otherwhere. I've got my computer set up here, and so all the stuff that needs digitally putting together is done here. And I do some kind of more involved artwork that needs more space. But most of the stuff, like I don't write here, and I don't really sketch and plan here. I normally would go out, for example, to a cafe. I've got a whole network of places in London that I know I can go to that have all different, like the one place has very good daylight, one place has good Wi-Fi, one place has no music, one place has good music. And I always, this is my sketchbook I always have, which has, it's got a leather cover and it's got bits of, elastic, so I can put different things in. Here's one project I'm working on. There's space for things like to-do lists, which I print out on a receipt printer. It's very good. I like to keep them in the cloud, but I like to have a hard copy of everything. And then I start making dummy books quite early to work out the mechanics. Like the text at that point, the exact text comes last, almost very last. First, it's a kind of a theatrical version where everything the cats say is just like, yes, no, good, bad, and that's what's in the speech bubbles. Just like, do not like, dog, where's dog? Something like that. Until the mechanics work and the pacing works. And the logic kind of works. And then we make it up into, like the publishers do that for me, which is nice, make it up into a full-size dummy. And then it's basically just weeks of just writing straight in there, sticking over things that we've written before and just reading it out and trying it out as a group normally. It's like the designer, the editor and me sitting around a table, just like impersonating these cats, and then like I'm still writing it, but we all try it out, and if it doesn't work, I re-edit it basically, and they have some suggestions sometimes. But that's how it works. It kind of works in the studio performance type thing, workshop. Because of the kind of performative aspect of this book and the series of books, it's more the process of writing and editing and making and designing it is more collaborative than usual, I think, than usual with my books as well. Although I do always work closely with the editorial, well, with a team, the art director and the editor. I think it's really important. I think it's not a good idea to kind of think, oh, I make a thing and it's done and no one must touch it. It's just like you're just missing out on the last chance to make it really good by showing it to someone else. It doesn't mean that you do everything they say. You can put your foot down. But I always get to do the last kind of polish on what they actually say. And it's a lot of arguing there, which is important. I think the most important thing in building up the story in the book was the kind of emotional aspect, that is emotionally true. that it ends up being truly, truly loving. And you can't stick that on in the end and just say, now love. It has to develop properly. And that's how it's all built. It's like where you know how it's got to end. They're all got to be best friends together and still your best friend. You cannot make the reader feel jealous of the dog. They have to love the dog too. And this has to be love all around. Very important. So how do you build that, basically? And so you have to start from a different emotion, from the cats being afraid and worried. But still, they can't be afraid of you. They have to love you. It's all just emotionally built up. So it's basically that's how it all works. It's basically like, it's a bit like improvised theatre. You basically have your actors, and you got some rules for them. You just let them do stuff. And then after that it's surprisingly technical, and it has to look like it isn't. Like there's all this stuff that's about keeping, like the suspension of disbelief, that these characters are actually alive in the book and thinking about everything that might happen. Every time there's a question asked, you gotta think, will a child just be tempted to break the narrative, then not react the way that you expect, and then that has to still work. So there's a lot of that, of just like a magic trick. So there's really a lot of kind of sleight of hand and building the flaps up so that the rhythm of that of opening and closing them works in a theatrical way. I think that the cat books are the most liked books that I've made. I get the nicest letters about them, and people really connect with them in really lovely ways. It's just like, oh. It's just people tell me what nice experiences they have with them, and I'm really proud of them for that. I think, for having made something that's that honestly loving, because it's kind of hard to kind of go and be that nice sometimes.